Anambra, where a governorship candidate has sworn an oath to serve only one term. Now, the question is, should we believe him? To those states where campaign bosses are raising red flags over Tinubu's alleged defiance of the Electoral Act. Will this go unpunished? And in the coastal highway drama, Governor Makinde is calling out Umahi for his interview with the Arise TV anchor, Rufai Oseni. Now, these are the top stories we'll be discussing this evening right here on Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon Enemchuku. Joining me as usual on the show, I have with me Ifoma Oji. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Sharon.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm just there.
It is the weekend,
to go
though.
Home. Yes,
it
is
is
the weekend.
Exactly. Now, we have to start with Anambra election and the whole brain evaluation, because we remember the current governor of Anambra State came out to say that any candidate that is promising Nigeria to serve only one term should go for a brain evaluation. Now we are seeing that the ADC gubernatorial candidate Nwosu has come out to swear an affidavit to serve only one term. Now I'm asking, do we really believe that this one-term promise is genuine, or is it just a campaign gimmick?
Okay, for me, I feel it's a political strategy. I mean, he is moving away from the status quo, and he's offering something that, apart from P2B, I think P2B have come out in the public space to talk about running one tenure, given the opportunity to run one tenure. And he is equally saying same thing, that I don't need an environment whereby I will run for a lifetime or 8 years, you understand, in office, that I just need 4 years and I will achieve a lot of things. You understand? That's basically what he's saying. But like I said earlier, I think it's actually a political motive. It's more like he's saying this to place himself at the top and to garner a lot of supporters or voters coming the election, November 8th election.
Now, do we think that this is a smart political strategy to beat better known candidates in Anambra State?
Yes. For me, like I said earlier, it's moving moving away from the status quo. I mean, every other person will come and tell you that they will invest in infrastructure, schools, and the rest of them. And this is somebody that is providing a different avenue or a different mandate or manifesto that he is going to just rule for 4 years if being given the opportunity. So like I said, when we talked about P2B's own, I said that for P2B to come out and say such a thing, that means he already has, you know, a map. He already has his plan set up. So it's just for him to be given that opportunity to implement them. So it equally means here that this man already has his plan, you know, lined up, and he just needs the opportunity to actualize that. So.
But ADC in Anambra State has, you know, they often refer to it as Abga land. It is a state that has been ruled by the Abga party for decades now. How do we think Nwosu is going to win the heart of Anambra, you know, coming from ADC, which is a new coalition opposition party in a state that is popularly known for being ruled by ABGA? How do we see that happening?
You know, there's this thing they say in power, that power is transient. I mean, it doesn't last. It only comes, and when it is time for it to shift, it will take that paradigm shift. So him providing that opportunity for people to see something different from the ordinary, I think he has maybe started, you know, garnering or gathering a lot of supporters to his side, apart from other people that are in APGA, you understand? Because I said earlier, it is a new development, it's a new innovative idea, and you still see a lot of people who will buy into it. But like, considering how, you know, APGA have already tied down or held down its supporters in Anambra State, it might actually be difficult to achieve that. But at the same time, we are the spectators, and we'll see how it
You know,
unfolds.
you said power is transient, right? And we are looking forward to how that will play out in Anambra State with the forthcoming election in November 8th now. ADC, APGA. There's also APC and LP and just different parties that are coming for the #1 seat in Anambra State. Do we think that him coming out to swear an affidavit is something that would be able to buy the trust of Anambra people? And is it something that they are looking forward to? Because you mentioned something about this being a different manifesto or a different mandate. Is it what Ndi Anambra is really concerned about, whether a governor is going to serve one term or not?
Well, comments based on this, I would say that the people of Anambra State have been given, I mean, they've experienced the present governor, and for the present governor to provide a lot of avenues to, you know, better the lives of people in Anambra State, and a different person coming up to, you know, provide an avenue to you know, offer them better leadership more than what they are experiencing at this point in time. There might be a possibility that he can achieve, but at the same time, I wanted to say this earlier, that him coming out to swear an affidavit, it's, for me, I feel it's just self-serving. I feel like it is just what he just wants to use and garner attention, make headlines, and possibly, you know, bring people or, you know, sway people to his own support. But the affidavit is swearing is not legally binding. In the Constitution, you still have provision for people at the top officials or government officials to run, you know, second term in office. So had it been that he provided, or the Constitution provided, an avenue or opportunity for people to run maybe like one term, or for people to swear an affidavit, and then when you go against the affidavit, there will be consequences. But this is just something that he kind of made himself, and he is dishing it out there to people to see if people will react to it or if people will buy it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not legally binding.
And I know that you've said that, and I've also heard what you said. It is constitutional that a sitting governor or the president run for only 2 terms, and that is 8 years in total. Doesn't mean now that, are you trying to explain to us that you think it is impossible to achieve all your manifestos in 1 term?
It's possible, but at the same time, it might be impossible. Well, how is it possible? If you already have a structured plan and how you want to carry about those projects, then I'll say it is possible. But when I say it is impossible, there are a lot of long-term projects that might take you a lot of years to achieve. Projects like infrastructure, it might actually go beyond that first tenure of 4 years to achieve. So that's why I said it's possible, and at the same time it's impossible. It depends on the plan. But him saying he will he just wants to run for 4 years, he might actually shy away or run away from those long-term projects. He might actually be focus more on maybe like substandard projects or even short-term projects instead of the long-term projects, which most of the times can actually lead to a lot of development in the state.
So you're comparing long-term projects and short-term projects, but I want to bring to our notice that when Mr. P2B came out to make to respond to what Governor Soludo said about needing a brain evaluation, because this is a candidate that has come out in 2023 to also promise that if elected, he would only run for 1 term. He cited other USA presidents who have been able to achieve monumental feats with during their time in office, Abraham Lincoln and the rest of them, who within 2 years plus was able to achieve most of the things that they wanted to. Now, I am also asking for other political parties and politicians who are looking at other elections, whether it be gubernatorial or other elections, this new whole trend of just 1 term in office, do you see this changing the political atmosphere and how politicians now are going to play the politics game?
Yes, I think, like I said earlier, he's stepping out of the ordinary. and he's providing a new environment for people. And according to him, he has said that he is focused on, you know, serving the people and not just ruling. So I know this most definitely has actually set that standard in the political field for other opposition parties. You will still see them, they will come out tomorrow, you know, bringing forth new mantras or manifestos, because this one right now is leading, is the top right now. So you still see them sprouting up with a lot of, you know, ideas or a lot of plans for the upcoming election. So yeah, definitely to change, it has changed the political landscape for the opposition parties.
And this is what we want to see: new mandates, new manifestos that can challenge the status quo. And we are hoping to see people talk their talk and keep to their words. Anyways, we'll wait until November 8th to see what happens in the Anambra state elections and who emerges the winner, to know if they'll be able to keep to their one-term promise, as for those who made such promise. Now, we have to move to the next story, which is really controversial and has garnered different opinions and thoughts and different ideologies on what went down with the Arise TV anchor in person of Rufai Oseni and the Minister of Works Dave Umahi. Now, they had a conversation, an interview, and there was just a lot of back and forth as regards trying to pass message across and not being heard. And I'll just let you take a look at this video before we come back and take the comments of people on X. Let's have a look.
So, at first, Minister, after you had gone to report me in front of President Tinubu and said all sorts, anyway, I am not beholden to you. My job is accountable.
Shut up, Kachi.
For me to report you to the president.
No, but they are very
too small.
Minister, let me speak. Minister, let me speak. I have empirical evidence. The world watched it on the commission of the project when you mentioned the questions I asked you to the president. That was reporting me to the president officially. The world watches, so you don't need to delete out about the empirical facts. I don't talk without facts, Minister. You know, when I have my facts, I talk. And I insist on my question when I ask, of course, let me address you. Minister, you will not allow me to speak. The problem is you will not allow me to speak. You spoke for over 20 minutes, over 10 minutes.
Because you don't know what you are speaking.
But let me speak. You will not allow me to speak. You see, if you can just keep quiet and be calm and just allow me to speak, I'll be happy. All right? So my question still persists as regards the cost per kilometer. You cannot tell me that we don't have a right to know the cost per kilometer. Even if it's an undulating landscape, give us all the facts and the details of the cost per kilometer. That's all we'll ask for. Other questions as regards the loans taken. Let me finish.
Listen to me.
Minister, you will not allow me to speak. The minister will not allow me to speak.
No. Don't do that with me.
Minister will not do that with me.
I was in your studio.
Minister will not
and when the first section was on, and I ran the figures. And what you're asking us is 750 kilometers of coastal highway. We should tell you cost per kilometer, so you multiply by 750. That's not physical.
No, so tell me the cost per kilometer. There's nothing too hard for you to tell me that figure. You've not still told me that figure, so I was right on that point. The second point...
Because you don't understand anything.
The second point I'm trying to...
You don't understand anything. I'm a professor in this field. Okay. You don't understand anything.
What university
you cannot ask me to tell you a cost.
What university gave you professorship in engineering? I didn't know you were Professor Mahi, Minister. I didn't know. So, please,
you're not a professor in practice. Professor in practice. Okay. I understand engineering very well.
So, sir,
and you have no knowledge of what you ask.
If you will let me,
you have no knowledge.
If you will let me ask.
So you keep quiet.
Okay.
And then stop.
Minister, it's all right. Keep dignifying yourself and let the world see you for who you are. If you allow me to speak. The other 100 kilometers that you said they've added to it, we would like to know the cost per kilometer of that one. And the Winsome Homes, the case is in court. Now, I would like to know the cost per kilometer for that one. I would like to also know the over 700 billion first tranche of loan you guys got for this project. Has the money been spent? How was the money deployed? I would also like to know. I would also like to know the terms of that loan. All right? How many years? What's the payback period? What's the payback moratorium of that loan? And for the Winsome Homes, isn't it interesting that As somebody that's been a governor in the state, you know the law. A case is in court, and then you're coming to talk about the details of the case.
All right, we just saw that video, and it is a trending video now between Dave Umahi and Rufai Oseni. Now, this has just gathered a lot of different reactions, and we are going to take some comments on X before we can give ours. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Now, Leo9 says, at least we are getting closer to accountability in our government. History will always remember Rufai the Fire, that's Rufai Oseni, for being one of the most pioneers in this struggle. Thank you. Matador says, all Rufai Oseni and other right-thinking Nigerians ask for is accountability. Why is it so difficult for our politicians and government officials to be accountable to the people? What are they hiding? Nana says, Makinde just said what many Nigerians have been thinking. Transparency shouldn't be a debate when it's taxpayers' money. If the cost is clean, show the breakdown. Now, the controversy with all of this is the fact that when you listen closely to that particular video, Minister of Works Dave Umahi said that in a former interview before now, that he had already given the cost per kilometer and every figures that were asked of him, and there was no need for him to repeat himself. I think that's what he was driving at. But Nigerians are saying that it is taxpayers' money and they deserve the right to understand exactly how this money came about to be over 700 billion naira and how much it costs per kilometer. Now, Ifoma, since we've seen this and we've seen different stance as regards this particular issue, we've also recently seen some group of people, young people in neighboring states who have come out to protest, asking that Rufai apologizes to former governor of Ebonyi State, in person of Dave Umahi, for the way he conducted his interview. Now, Ifoma, where do we draw the line with asking or demanding for accountability and just outright disrespect?
You're not drawing any line in the first place. Because what I saw there, Rufai did not at all disrespect him. He didn't call him names. He just demanded accountability, just like what every Nigerian who pay tax should seek for. It is simple. What are the loan terms? How much did each kilometer cost you? It is not, I mean, I don't see a reason whereby this man will be dodging the question. And I love the fact that Seyi Makinde came out to support, you know, Rufai Oseni and, you know, kind of, should I say, reprimand this man. Because he cited during his time that the Oyo to Iseyin, which cost him about 10 billion and for 335 kilometer and about 238 million per kilometer. And he equally cited the Iseyin to Obomosho, which cost him about 43 billion naira for 76 kilometers with just 2 bridges and about 500 million, like for 1 kilometer. It cost him about 500 million. So he was able to account for how much he spent in building his own infrastructure. And now he's asking this man, why can't you provide your own account? It's that simple. But I'll just borrow what our favorite politician, Nigerian politician, in the person of Wike, Yesom Wike, he'll say that if he didn't dare, he didn't dare. Why is the man fighting against providing accountability or transparency as to how much or how he was able to manage the funds or how he was able to disburse the funds? That's because he didn't dare. That's because he and his cohorts has other plans for the money and they've already spent the money. So you won't see anything in the public space. He will not account for anything. So that's just what. All right,
now we've heard what you've said, Ifoma, and you rightfully mentioned that Seyi Makinde came out to outrightly say during his own time the project that he did, how much it cost him, and gave a try to be as transparent as possible when it concerns how much was spent on his own infrastructure in his state. Now, we've seen that, and he drew that as a comparison with Dave Umahi's response when asked how much did it cost per kilometer for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, and why it was so difficult for him to answer that question. Now, are we seeing a situation of inflated figures here, or is this a situation of trying to protect this information for whatsoever reason?
Yes, the both of them. He's trying so much to, protect a lot of things, because he knows that for a fact he doesn't even have any data. He doesn't even know how he used the money. He doesn't even know how he mismanaged the money. So he cannot even provide accountability for it. So if he makes a mistake by mentioning one particular, amount, that this is how much he was charged for 1 kilometer, then the public will do the math and they will see the disparity. So that is why he's trying so much to dodge the question by saying he is an engineer. What was that he said? A professor. He is a professor. So he's just trying to find, other means to escape the question that was thrown in his table. And Nigerians are equally reacting. And we here in the studio, just like Rufai was reacted to it, we're equally reacting to it. And we're asking him, the carriageway construction, how did you go about it? The structures, the bridge, the interchanges, how did you go about it? The shoreline, how did you invent it? The right of way and compensation, how did you go about it? The contractors, who are the contractors for this particular job? We want to see them.
All right.
We demand accountability.
All right. Now, thank you very much, Ifoma, for that. But just finally on this particular story, how do we now ensure accountability going forward?
Well, I think we're already stepping up. The journalists are already stepping up. You could see Rufai has come out to, ask him or question him as regards to how he spent the money. And I believe that this guy's name in Arise has equally questioned the man. And a lot of Nigerians are equally protesting and asking for accountability. So it's not about using public funds in an inappropriate way. It's about being able to equally account for those money or those funds.
All right. Now, thank you very much, Ifoma, for your thoughts on that particular story. It is really important that we are given as much data as possible, especially when it concerns taxpayers' money and it concerns the infrastructure that Nigerians are supposed to enjoy. Now, we have to move over to an equally disturbing situation as regards the forthcoming presidential 2027 election. Now, it is constitutional that you are only supposed to campaign 150 days before said day of election. Now, we're seeing a video in Edo State where there are buses for the Edo line, but now it has a difference to it. They are different in the sense that it is carrying the face of current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and some words, texts insinuating that this is a campaign vehicle. Now, Ifoma, do we see this as a direct violation of the Electoral Act?
Today's politicians, especially the ruling government, they don't value or adhere to the Constitution. But when a common man comes out to disobey the Constitution or the rules and regulation of the state, you will see that that person will become the biggest criminal Nigeria has ever birthed. But to them, the Constitution is just mere decorations. So they will enact laws, they will break the laws, they'll be the first to break the law. You could see clearly that the Constitution states that you are not allowed to campaign. But apart from APC, other political parties, oppositions are campaigning even before the said date. So we don't value the Constitution in this land. And like I said in one of our shows, that I think at this point is either they amend the Constitution or they scrap out the Constitution entirely, so that we know that we are living in a lawless environment or society.
Now, I'm also asking now, do we think that INEC is going to do something as regards this?
I believe INEC have been seeing this campaigns. They have been seeing it on the media. Some of them even go behind closed doors and endorse them. So they are seeing it. Once they drop cash, billions or trillions or millions on their table, you can go ahead and run your campaign. You see, it's still the same thing that we are talking about in Nigeria, about the system. The justice system is compromised, is corrupt. The educational sector, the healthcare, all of them, let's talk about them. They are all in terrible state.
You know, Ifeoma, as well, the Edo State governor came out the other day to promise the president 2.5 million votes for 2027. Do you think that he is already acting out on that promise with what we just saw now?
There's possibility that that was a political fronting. Like I said, when we discussed that he just, there's possibility that he just wants to score, a point for the president. But there's equally possibility that he is making moves as regards that, and he is at this current time, I am guessing that he's already siphoning Edo fund, their taxpayers' money, and he is preparing for this campaign for people to support the president. So,
you said rightfully that INEC is watching, but it's not just INEC, right? Other opposition are watching, other opposition parties, Nigerians are watching. Now, what do you think this is sending to other opposition parties? And does this mean that the presidency is above the rule of law over here in Nigeria?
Sharon, the president is above the rule of law, same as other political parties, that is the opposition parties. Because if you're talking about the president campaigning, he's not the only one campaigning. ADC, calm down. ADC,
okay, we have seen ADC campaigning.
PDP is campaigning.
Where?
They are campaigning on social media. It's everywhere on social media. For Seyi Makinde to talk about delivering 2.5, is it not campaign?
Not Seyi Makinde.
I'm sorry. Sorry, what's his name? Monday. Yes, for him to come out to say that, it means that he is campaigning.
That's the APC. I'm asking for other opposition parties.
Other opposition parties, they are campaigning.
Okay.
They are campaigning. Even if you don't have to front that, oh, I need you to vote me. At least Peter Obi has come out to talk about 4 years term. We've seen what is his name? The article, we've seen him, trying to fight for the position of the presidency, even when his spokesperson came out to say he's not running. He came to, rebuke that he is running. So all these people, they are campaigning. They are campaigning. All of them, they are just above the law. And INEC is watching, but since INEC has already been settled, they won't do anything.
All right. Now, what will now happen if INEC continues to remain silent on this matter?
Just like we say that INEC keep eroding the public's trust, maybe if they can help themselves, because a lot of Nigerians have removed that I from INEC, so it's remaining neck. Maybe they can try as much as possible to bring back or retain that INEC and possibly add independence to it. Because as far as I'm concerned, the flag, the eagle you are seeing there, all those things are just decoration. They don't live or stand by what they represent. So if they can try as much as possible, right now we know we already have a new INEC chairman. So yeah, an incoming INEC chairman. So if he can try as much as possible, just like I said earlier when we talked about it, to regain people's trust. We already know that the public's trust have already been eroded in INEC following the formal chairman of INEC and what happened in
Yes.
2023. So if this new INEC chairman can actually try as much as possible to act like somebody of integrity, then we can see maybe
you can see changes
yes,
going
changes in 2027.
Thank you very much, Ifoma. Thank you for your contribution. We've had a full-on discussion from what is going on in Anambra State and the ADC gubernatorial candidate in person of Mr. Nwosu coming out to promise Anambra that he is going to serve only one term, and went further to swear an affidavit to Edo State, where campaign buses carrying the faces of current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is a direct violation of the Electoral Act, which says that campaign should start 150 days before said election. And finally, to Governor Makinde calling out Umahi for the refusal to give out numbers during the Arise TV interview with anchor Rufai Oseni. Now, all of these things is pointing to one thing. Nigeria is at the brink of demanding for accountability, and it is high time. We are going to sit back and watch as all of this unfolds. You've been watching Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon Enemchuku, and I've had with me Ifoma Odi. To follow us across all media at Active Citizens. If you're yet to subscribe, please endeavor to do so. Find me across all social media at Sharon Enemchuku. And you?
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Miselex.
All right, so till we see you next week, do have a glorious weekend.